It's Triple Crown here, Saturday, February 22nd, 2025. The last stand before Shipshewana, making the long walk in to the Greensburg card show. My second time I've been here. Last time was in September of 2024. It was fantastic. I found some nice little hidden gems, as I referred to in the title of that vlog. You can go check that out. My favorite was probably the Adrian Peterson red refractor that I found. Really hoping to find more of the same, and spoiler, that was pretty much what happened here. I was thrilled with what I walked away with from this show. Lots of variety here and a lot of things that I didn't really expect to find, but glad that I walked away with them. Now, my walk in was pretty long. I had to park kind of far away, and I thought, this might mean that this show is a bit packed. And you know what? It was very busy compared to last time. There was quite a few people here last time, but when I walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, there is a lot of people here. There's a lot more tables here as well. So there was quite a bit to get into, and I did get into it. So let's go ahead and show off what I picked up in this video. First box I start digging in, I find a card that I have never seen before. Now, obviously, I've never seen this specific card before because it's a one of one, but I've never seen a card of this parallel out in the wild or really for sale on social media. That is the first card parallel, and this one is from 2024 Topps update of Adam Simber. If you're familiar with the first day issues in Stadium Club, it is something that's along the same lines, except for this is the actual first card that was printed in the products run, which is pretty cool to think about. It's kind of cool that Topps ran with that idea. I don't know if they did that for Series 1. I'm sure a quick Google search would answer that for me, but this one definitely piqued my interest. He has it at 55. That seems pretty reasonable for this card. I went to go see what some of these had sold for of different players, just because, again, a market that I'm not familiar with at all. And I kind of thought, maybe on this one, but it's a card that I'll come back to later in the show if I don't find anything else that catches my eye. It's a unique card. If it was a bit better name, no disrespect to Adam Simber, but if it was a bit better name, then I might have been more obligated to jump on it right away. But I figured I could look for something else in the meantime and just kind of keep this one in my back pocket in case I can't find anything else. Could you do 50 on this Chuck Null block?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank God. When it first came out, I had it at like 120, and somebody goes, "You do 75," and then I didn't do it.
It's up in there before too. Now, Chuck Knobloch, not the biggest name out there, but still a name that's pretty well known, especially to all the Twins fans out there who may be watching this. He had this card at 65. I figured I'd just go ahead and toss an offer at 50. Kind of expected him to counter at 60, but he accepted at 50, which I'll gladly take. Gold vinyl from Prism 2024. Boxes of these are about $140, $150 in the secondary market. And if you look at this gold vinyl for 50 bucks, I mean, if you pull a gold vinyl out of your box of Prism, you'd probably be pretty satisfied. To get one for 1/3 the cost of a box, it just seems like a no-brainer. Again, it's not the biggest name. You could have gotten a Hall of Famer from the Twins, but Knobloch, really solid player. I know of a few people that collect him, and this is a card that I figured would probably be a good eBay card. That's exactly what I did. I ended up posting it the next day, and I got an offer pretty much immediately for 100 that I ended up taking. So that's definitely not a bad way to start things off here. How's it going?
Good.
Good. What are you asking on your lottos up there, the dynasties?
To be truthful,
Yeah.
I brought these, definitely this one, with not necessarily with the intention of selling.
Just to show it off?
More or less, it would just take an extreme offer.
Okay.
Like, if somebody were to value it even more than I do personally, kind of thing, I mean, you're talking, you'd have to make me an offer of substantial amount.
Fair.
So I figured I'd bring it just in case somebody's like a die hard fan.
Yeah.
I'll give you $1,000 for it, and I would probably seriously consider it.
It's fair. I kind of figured that based on the top row there. That's a good little lineup you got going. As I allude to here, anytime that I see a really impressive lineup of cards from the same player or the same set, it usually indicates to me that they are probably there more for show than they are for sale. Now, people always have a price, right? they have a number that they're willing to part with them, and that's what he said here. He's willing to part with this Votto, of course, for the right price, but only if he was blown away by an insane offer. And look, I totally get that. I've had cards like that too, where do I really want to sell them? No, I'm not highly motivated to sell them, but for the right number I would, and it's perfectly fine to have cards like that. So while I did ask about the Votto, I didn't really particularly think that I was going to get anywhere on that. But they're definitely cool cards, cool to see out in the wild, especially a now 10-year-old Dynasty 101. But he's got some orange refractors down here from around the same time frame that I definitely think we might be able to work something out on.
What about these two oranges down here? The Ortiz and Stanton.
I've got to consult eBay here. That this is my first card show.
Oh, okay.
This is kind of, so I'm not like a, I don't know what you want to call it, professional.
A couple things to point out. Number one, he is using the eBay app to look up the prices on these cards, which is fine. But the odds of finding these cards that have sold within the last 90 days, being that they're now 9 years old and numbered to 25, is probably pretty slim. I, just from personal experience, would bet 9 out of 10 times there will not be a sale on a card like this within the last 90 days. And sure enough, that was the case here with both of these orange refractors. Now, the other part of this was that he was also looking at what was currently listed on eBay, which is fine if there's nothing to go off of sold-wise. I tried to let him know that, you want to look at what things have actually sold for rather than what people have them listed for. But I don't know if I made it clear in my communication, so I decided that it wasn't really worth pressing. I'll just see what he says on it. I kind of know in my head what I'd like to pay on these, and it will just be a simple yes or no from there.
He's in the Hall of Fame now, right? You made it.
He's in yeah.
He'll probably get in. You do both for 30.
Okay. How much for the Ichiro as well?
Let's see if we have any more luck with Ichiro here.
Yeah. Do you have more in there, or is that kind of just your collection?
I do have more. These are the ones I kind of a little more attached to.
Okay. I won't look through them.
I have a couple more Ichiros, but he's one of my favorites, and they're buried in here somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's your collection stuff. I'm not gonna mess with it.
You're right.
I definitely was getting that Stanton and that Ortiz at 30 for the pair. But when he opened up that box really quickly, I saw a Votto from the very same set, also numbered to 25, and it got me thinking, okay, well, what else might be in that box? Because sometimes with these types of cards, when it rains, it pours. Someone might have had a bunch of these, and they had them in their collection and kind of stashed them away for a while. And that was kind of the vibe that I was getting from this situation. But he told me that it was more stuff that he was reluctant to let go of. I didn't really want to press him on that either, just because I felt like it was kind of like with the Vottos up top too. Brought him mostly to show off, which is perfectly fine. That's kind of stuff that he would put out if he really needed to, but it didn't sound like he really needed to or wanted to. He just kind of had it with him to show off maybe, and that's okay with me. I'll gladly just stick with the oranges that he has out now, but I'm going to try to add on this Ichiro here before I make the deal for the two 2016s at the bottom.
I guess all three for 50?
Works for me.
I won't argue that.
I mean, 3 orange refractors, 2 of which are from Hall of Famers, and then another guy who has a shot to get into the Hall of Fame one day. Yeah, I'll gladly take those at $50. It's pretty much the equivalent of one Topps Chrome Blaster. If you got those 3 cards out of a Topps Chrome Blaster, you'd probably be pretty pleased. This is the type of stuff that I love finding. You just don't always find this stuff, and it's stuff that I don't mind holding on to forever. I love these older, low-numbered refractors. Really, I love the golds. These are a little bit more rare than the golds, being golds are out of 50, but I'll take what I can get. I absolutely love these cards, and I was very pleased to find those. This show is off to a fantastic start right now.
Would you be able to do 40 on this Lodolo up here?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one here?
Yeah.
Check it out if you want. All right.
I mean, this one here just felt like a no-brainer. Nick Lodolo, first Bowman Chrome, red refractor. These are numbered out of 5 for $40. I just had to grab this. It's a red color match, which is nice. I mean, a red refractor is usually pretty good regardless because they're low numbered. It's out of 5, out of 10, out of 25 most of the time. Really here, I mean, Lodolo, is he the biggest name out there? No, but he's had some success at the big league level. I think that if he has a fully healthy year in 2025, he's definitely a guy who has all-star potential. And I'm also bringing it back to the Cincinnati area. If there is a Nick Lodolo fan out there, it's probably more likely to be in my neck of the woods. And yeah, this is one of those that I just had to grab as soon as I saw it.
How much are you asking on the Mahomes gold?
On the Mahomes, I'm at 600.
Okay.
There is a little bit of room on that. The PSA 10 went for 860.
The one area that I feel I'm a little lacking in heading into Shipshewana is my graded football selection. It's not the best currently, and that's mostly because when I get it in, it tends to sell very quickly. And I've been trying to kind of stockpile it over the last couple of weeks to some success. I mean, not a ton of success. And I haven't really found anything here that has jumped out to me at a price that I was comfortable with. But I'm just going to roll with what I can find at the show. I'm not going to force myself into making a deal on any specific card just because I feel that I need to buy something specific. I'm going to buy what appeals the most to me and what is presented to me. And if that means I kind of have to just build upon things that I already have, that's fine. I'll pick up what I am most interested in. And while a gold Mahomes definitely is something that will always pique my interest, I felt like there might be something else in the room that I might like a little bit more. And oh boy, there sure was.
How's it going? Good by yourself.
Good.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to finish up some other deals before I came over.
You're good.
How much is your Transcendent?
250.
Okay.
This dealer had some pretty cool stuff. His table was fairly busy the entire time I was there, which makes a lot of sense because he had a lot of good cards in this case. There's also quite a few good ones, mostly basketball, in the case that is adjacent to it. But I find several things catching my eye here. Of course, there's that awesome Peyton Manning patch auto that I kind of tried to zoom in on for you guys there. He has a cool Wimby red refractor from Topps Finest there. But I'm mostly shopping in that bottom window. He's got 4 cards really that jump out to me, and my level of interest in them increases as you go along. And the first one I ask about is that Trout Transcendent auto. That seems like a pretty fair price on that. But I really have my eye on that Deion Sanders patch auto and then that Peyton Manning Super Bowl auto. That is a pretty desirable card, and that is one that I am definitely going to make sure I walk away with if the number is right.
That caught my eye, of course, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that catches everybody's eye.
It's kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's probably 1,200. I had that way back in the day and had it sitting, and I thought, man, I just need to have a slab. Because I knew that they'd kill it with the autograph a little bit, the way they countersink those.
Yeah.
I just still got an 8, but it's number to 5. Game worn jersey.
That's super
That's
cool.
the bad thing with this new stuff. They just get this not even game worn stuff.
No.
They'll get these Nike swooshes, and it's like, really? Not even game worn?
Well, they got to put them in
Give me
every
a
product.
break,
That's
yeah.
why. That's why. But yeah, I hear you on that. How about this Peyton? How much is this one?
I'd be like 375.
Okay.
I think raw they're about 300.
These Super Bowl signatures you've probably seen around before, and you might be wondering why I'm so fascinated with it, and it's because these older ones from when Panini first put out these cards are pretty difficult to find these days, and some of the top tier names really cost a pretty penny. And anytime I see one out in the wild, I definitely raise my eyebrows to it, but it has been a very long time since I've seen one, and there's probably been some that I've passed up on that I probably shouldn't have. But I have an opportunity right now of this Peyton Manning. Panini started putting these out back in 2015 as what we call a continuity set, meaning that it is a autograph set that is put out in several different products. So, for example, some of these were put into Spectra. Some of them were put into a product that's called Lux. A lot of those are very difficult to find. There are a bunch of different ones, and although this one says 2015, which is the year that they put them out originally, the Peyton Manning, from what I can see, was not actually inserted into packs until 2016 Honors. That was the first time they did that product, which is kind of like a buyback autograph product. I'm sure you've also seen that one around. Panini doesn't put it out anymore, or at least they haven't in a couple of years now. But being that it was in Honors, which is a product that doesn't have a large print run to begin with, and being that it was the first year of Honors, I can't imagine there's too many of these Peyton Mannings out there. How many are out there? My guess would be maybe 25, and that might even be a little bit too much. I haven't looked at pop reports or anything, but I know that it's a rare card. I know that it's from a set that is pretty popular among set builders, And really, without having to look it up, I felt like anything under 500 is probably something I really need to seriously consider. And at 375, I'm going to take it. There's no question about it. Now, I need to try to work out something to possibly add that trout, but I'm also looking at that Dion patch auto there. You know, I'm good for the Manning at least at this point, but I'd like to add something else on if I can. But this Manning, I feel, is a pretty darn good find.
9510.
I'd say so. Do you take any electronic forms of payment?
I don't.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm old school. I just cash. Dang it.
All right, here's a potential problem here. I did not bring my primary cash bag with me to this show, and that is going to pose a difficult position for me because I'm not really in a densely populated area. I looked up my closest bank, and it was 21 miles away. So going to an ATM of my bank is probably not my future, and if I go to a different ATM that's not associated with my bank, I'm paying a pretty nice fee on it, and who knows how much I'll actually be able to withdraw. That is going to pose a challenge for me. I have some ideas of how I'm going to move around this, but really this isn't a problem that I have run into in quite some time. Definitely it was pre-pandemic times the last time I ran into a situation where I needed to have cash because the seller didn't take electronic forms of payment. But it does happen, and I will definitely be sure that I am prepared the next time it does happen.
Pick up some good stuff here.
A couple of things. Kind of wish I would have held on to the cash though if I knew that these were there, unfortunately.
Yeah, how close the bank is from here.
You trade it all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Okay.
something I can use.
Yeah. That'd save me a trip to the bank.
I wasn't even really planning on bringing my rolly bag with me or any of my cards really, because I haven't at a lot of the shows I've been buying at, but I'm really thankful I did at this point because trading might be my way to get out of this. Now I'll save you the time of him going through my bag, but he ultimately doesn't find anything that he's interested in. He's mostly a basketball guy. There's some football stuff that he looked at briefly, but nothing that really jumped out to him. So now it is on to plan B, try to find cash in the room and also figure out how much cash I need.
I did like 2 on the Dion.
You said 2 on the Dion?
Yeah.
So you said 375 there, and then what were we at on Dion?
What did I say, 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take them both. I just need to figure out how I'm going to get the rest of the cash. So let me
Yeah, you Fifth Third or anything?
Chase. So it's
Chase.
the nearest one's like 21 miles away.
Really?
Yeah. I have a friend here who might I have a friend here who
Okay.
might have cash, so
I'll pull them back.
yeah. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. You're good. Thank you.
All right, as I said, I walk over around the corner to my friend Kyle. As you can see here, I plant here, wait for him to finish up with his customer, and I decide to ask for a favor if he has cash that I can Venmo for, and he does. He definitely helped me out big time here. I added $20 extra to the Venmo that I sent him just because I was very appreciative for helping me out, but he is the hero of the day here. I bought a card from him earlier in the show, and he had the perfect amount of cash that I needed to go complete this deal. The only stipulation was I had to go back and show him what I ended up buying, which I did. So a big thank you to him if he watches this video. He definitely saved me on this one because I wouldn't have been able to buy the cards that I wanted to buy if it wasn't for him.
I will. Hold on.
Did you see the show on Facebook? I saw this on Facebook. Okay. They advertised a couple days ago. A week ago.
Let me get him real quick.
It should be 575. Don't double check for me.
Yeah, if I didn't have that paint, I can't.
There.
That is neat.
I'd rather have that one if it was me. So, thank you again, sir. See you.
My audio wasn't great on this last clip, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk over it here as I wrap up the video. But basically, I make a trade for this Yamamoto Gold that you see on the table. I gave up some of my Ellie cards because the gentleman I'm dealing with here likes Ellie. That's his main guy who he collects. But this was a fantastic show. I had a lot of fun last time. I might have even had more fun this time around too. Ryan, who's the promoter, does a great job with it. I'm sure he was thrilled with the increased foot traffic and increased number of tables. That's got to be incredibly rewarding as a show promoter. and I definitely will aim to be back next time this show happens in September. But so many cool cards that I found, a lot of cool cards that I saw that I didn't buy as well. There was just a little bit of everything here. And hey, you never know what you're going to find when you walk into a show, and this is a prime example of it. So thank you so much for watching. I'll be back later in the week with some more content. Until then, take care, stay safe, be kind.